For centuries, the Galactic Council observed new civilizations. Their job was to decide which species were dangerous, which ones could be useful allies, and which ones were harmless. Earth was marked as low threat. The report came from the Xerac Scouts, an old reptilian species who had scanned Earth's technology from orbit. They have nuclear weapons, one officer had said, but they still fight over land, resources, and petty politics. No warp drive, no gravity tech. Primitive. The Council agreed. Earth was no problem. They put it on the list of monitored, no action required. Just another backwater planet spinning in a quiet arm of the galaxy. What no one noticed was that Earth didn't try to reach out. Most new species sent out greetings, signals, or distress calls. Earth did none of this. Instead, they sent strange things into space: music, poems, coded messages, and even photos of humans smiling and waving. "We are peaceful," one signal said. "We want to meet others." It was a lie. Not because humans were evil, but because they were clever. A few small alien scout ships were sent to monitor Earth from the edge of the solar system. Only one ever returned, and its crew said very little. "They saw us," whispered the pilot, a gray-skinned being with tired eyes. "They knew we were there." "Did they attack you?" asked the council officer. "No," the pilot said. "Worse, they watched us. They scanned us back." But the council ignored the warning. After all, humans were low threat. No warp drive. No empire. No allies. So the council made a new plan. Operation Quiet Harvest. The plan was simple. Send a fleet near Earth, block all their signals, and quietly begin taking control of the nearby systems. Earth wouldn't even know it had happened. The first fleet, made up of 20 light cruisers, left from the central core. The admiral was confident. "It'll take less than a week," he said, laughing. "They'll probably welcome us with drums and flags." He never arrived. 2 weeks passed. No signal. No status updates. No final message. The council thought it was a delay. Maybe something went wrong with the communication lines. So they sent another ship, a stealth recon cruiser equipped with advanced sensors. This ship did return, but barely. It drifted into a station with half its hull melted and its engines frozen. The crew had vanished. Every system had been erased. Only one thing was left, a single word carved into the pilot's chair: leave. Now the council began to worry. It could be pirates, someone said. It could be a natural space hazard. It could be sabotage from another rival empire. But deep down, they all had the same thought. What if Earth isn't what we thought it was? Meanwhile, back on Earth, life looked normal. People went to work, drove cars, argued online, and made jokes about aliens. Governments held meetings about space defense, but the public didn't know the truth. High above Earth, behind the dark side of the moon, something watched. A massive space station, black as shadow, floated in silence. No signal, no lights, no heat. It was invisible to standard alien sensors. Inside, human officers sat around large circular screens. They weren't part of any known country. They didn't wear flags. They simply watched. They had known about the Galactic Council for years. Ever since the first alien probe entered the solar system decades ago, humans didn't shoot it. They traced it, followed it back. They listened to the Council's signals. They hacked alien networks. They watched as Earth was marked low threat, and they smiled. Back at the Council, debates broke out. Should we send a war fleet? Should we try to talk to them? Should we ignore it and wait? The older species argued for peace. The younger ones wanted conquest. In the end, they chose to act. A massive invasion fleet, 100 warships strong, was prepared. If we cannot conquer Earth, what kind of empire are we? One general growled. The fleet jumped into space and was never heard from again. Not even a distress call. This time, the silence was loud. In the days that followed, strange things began happening. Stations on the edge of the Council's territory went quiet. Trade routes were blocked by ghost signals. Colonies that once sent daily reports now sent nothing. One by one, systems went dark, and each time, the last message sent from them was the same. They're here. The council called an emergency session. All eyes turned to the same blinking dot on the galactic map, Earth. And in the dark corners of space, hidden human fleets moved without a sound. The galaxy had made a mistake. They called Earth a low threat. They never asked why humans had stayed quiet. Now, they were about to find out. The Galactic Council was in full panic now. The great war fleet they had sent, over 100 powerful ships, had vanished. No return signal, no black box recovery, no escape pod, just silence. It was as if the entire fleet had entered a black hole, or worse, walked into a trap they didn't see coming. The council leaders gathered in a tall silver chamber. It floated above their central world, the heart of their mighty empire. Holograms of lost systems blinked red on the wall behind them. Whole sectors were now marked unknown. "This is not a coincidence," said High Chancellor Arvak. His feathers trembled as he spoke. "We have lost 2 fleets, and now the outer colonies are going dark." "It must be a rebellion," growled General Voskar, "or rogue AI. Not Earth, not that quiet rock." But deep down, everyone was starting to wonder the same thing. What if Earth is no longer quiet? The council sent a team of 3 small scout ships. They were to scan the silent systems near Earth, systems once filled with colonies, mining stations, and research labs. Each scout took a different path. The first reached the mining belt of Tyran 7. It was supposed to be full of ore processing, towers, and tens of thousands of workers. It was empty. No wreckage, no life signs, just silence. The scout captain tried to land on one of the platforms. As the ship descended, the engines cut out. Their sensors glitched. Then, just before hitting the ground, everything powered back on, and a message flashed on every screen. "Turn around." The second scout ship approached the Helix Array, a deep space science lab on the edge of the wormhole network. The crew reported nothing strange until they entered the docking bay. The station looked untouched, clean, fully powered. But there was no one inside. No blood, no damage, just missing people. In the control room, they found only one thing. A human-made radio playing soft classical music looping the same line. "You should not have come here." The third scout ship never reported anything at all, just gone. At this point, the Galactic Council couldn't hide the truth anymore. They called for an emergency lockdown on all travel toward Earth space. Warnings were sent out to civilian ships. "Avoid Sector 9. Do not enter Sol system." But it was too late. One of the core trade routes passed right near Earth space. A cargo ship carrying 200 crew and 500,000 units of food passed through. It vanished too. Its final message, rushed and shaky, played on a loop across all council channels. "We see lights, ships everywhere. They're not ours. They're fast. Too fast. They..." And then silence. Back on Earth, the people still lived their normal lives. They didn't know that their hidden defense system, known only as the Umbra Protocol, was now fully active. Behind the moon, the Black Station expanded. More ships uncloaked, shaped like arrows and shadows. They moved without heat, without light. They used physics that aliens couldn't track or understand. They called themselves the Silence Fleet. No one on Earth saw them. No one on alien sensors could follow them. But wherever they went, nothing was left behind. The Galactic Council was falling apart from fear. Old empires argued with new ones. Some species wanted to make peace with Earth. Others wanted to run. A few still believed they could attack. "Humans are just one species," yelled General Voskar. "They are still just flesh. Flesh that tore through our best fleets." Chancellor Arvak replied softly. "Flesh that walks in shadows. They didn't beg us to stop. They didn't ask for mercy. They just erased us." A small group of scientists came forward. They had been studying Earth's history secretly for years. They played back human videos, wars, inventions, survival stories. They showed old footage of 2 world wars, the moon landing, global disasters, and rebuilding efforts. One alien stood and said, "They were never weak. They just had nowhere to go. So they built quietly, in secret. And now, they've learned, from us, every war tactic, every mistake. They copied us," another said, and then improved. Everyone in the chamber went silent. A message appeared on the main screen. It was sent from a dying station near the Voro Nebula. The crew had just seconds left before vanishing. They said only one thing: Earth is no longer sleeping. The Galactic Council had made every effort to calm the growing fear. They sent peace messages toward Earth in dozens of languages. Some were friendly greetings. Some begged for talks. Some even offered resources and shared technology in hopes of making a deal. But Earth never answered. Every signal disappeared before reaching the Sol system, as if something, or someone, was blocking the transmissions. In the center of the Council's high tower, a secret meeting was held. Only top generals, ancient advisors, and intelligence directors were allowed inside. The air was cold and heavy. One of the senior intelligence officers, a four-eyed insectoid named Arjal, placed a small cube on the table. It blinked blue. "This was recovered from a damaged scout drone on the edge of Earth's claimed space," he said quietly. The room went still. The cube projected a blurry video, shaky footage from the drone's final recording. Dark shapes moved, silently through a starfield. Not glowing, not bright, just outlines, fast and precise. Then came a closer look. Long, angular ships made of dark metal. No lights, no markings. And then, a clear image. A human, wearing black armor with no insignia, stood on a narrow bridge. His face was calm. His eyes locked directly onto the drone as if he knew it was watching. He raised one hand, and the drone's recording ended. Silence filled the room. "They knew we were watching," Arjal said. "They didn't fire. They didn't run. They just let us see." At the same time, on a forgotten moon in the outer sectors, another mystery appeared. A small alien patrol ship crashed after being hit by an invisible pulse. The crash wasn't fatal. The crew survived, but they were met by something unexpected. Humans, not Earth civilians, not soldiers in uniforms, ghosts in armor. They didn't speak. They only stood there, tall, still, and silent. One of them handed the alien commander a box. Then the humans vanished into thin air, just disappeared. When the box was opened back at the Council's lab, it showed images of the last 5 systems that had gone silent. Satellite pictures, energy graphs, population, counts all marked cleared. But the most chilling part was the message at the end. This is not war. This is response. The Council now knew Earth had more than just a fleet. They had a network. Humanity had built something the rest of the galaxy had missed. A hidden force of ships, cloaked bases, and AIs capable of scanning across dimensions of space unknown to the Council. Some called it magic, others believed it was stolen tech. But the truth was simpler and more frightening. Humans had studied every alien signal for over 100 years. While the galaxy laughed at their low-threat label, Earth had quietly decoded alien language, weapon systems, ship blueprints, and weakness patterns. They didn't reveal themselves because they were still preparing, and when they were ready, they erased everything that moved too close. Inside Earth's most hidden base, located deep under Antarctica, a tall woman with silver eyes looked at a star map. Her name was Commander Leah Grant. She had never spoken to the press. She had no government title. But she controlled what the Council feared most, the Umbra Protocol. Behind her, large screens showed live feeds from across the galaxy. Red blinking zones marked silent systems. Others had small green circles. These were untouched, for now. "We're not here to conquer," she said calmly to her team. "We're here to balance." Her officers nodded. They knew the plan. The galaxy had proven its nature. When Earth was weak, it was ignored. When Earth tried to rise, it was targeted. So now, Earth no longer trusted. Now, they walked in the shadows. Meanwhile, In the outer edges of Council territory, a small group of refugees drifted through space. They came from a mining planet that had ignored Earth's warning. Their ship was damaged. Their energy low. They sent out a distress signal, not knowing it would be picked up by a human vessel. The refugees watched in fear as a massive black ship appeared without warning, like it had teleported beside them. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It simply scanned the ship. Then, after a moment, it released a repair drone. It fixed the refugee ship's core systems, restored power, and left. No words, just a final message left behind on the screen. Stay away from Earth. You are not enemies. Yet. The refugees, shaking, turned their ship away from Sol space and never looked back. The Council gathered again, but it was too late for unity. Some races wanted to surrender to Earth. Even without hearing from humans, others wanted to build defenses. But none of their weapons had worked before. Why would they now? Rumors spread across the stars. Earth had created ships that moved between layers of space, that they had learned to fold light, silence sound, and fight without being seen. What no one could prove, yet everyone believed, was that Earth had already infiltrated the heart of the Galactic Council. Some whispered that the humans were already watching, listening, waiting. And then, Earth finally sent a signal. It was not a peace offer. It was a warning. Broadcast on every frequency, in every language. You called us low threat. You judged us before you knew us. We watched. We learned. We waited. Now you see our silence was not weakness. It was preparation. The message ended. No demands. No orders. No threats. But it was enough. The galaxy understood one thing now. Earth had never been quiet. They had simply been listening and getting ready. The silence that followed Earth's message was deafening. For the first time in galactic history, an entire empire was gripped by fear without a clear enemy to fight. No fleets attacked, no weapons fired. Instead, darkness spread. Systems, once alive, with trade and communication now echoed emptiness. One by one, outposts stopped answering calls. Among them was the Vela Deep Core Station, a major research hub near the edge of the Empire. This station was critical. It controlled communications for a dozen systems. When the last transmission came in, it was a chilling whisper. We're leaving, we cannot hold. And then, silence. The Council sent a large rescue force, a dozen warships led by Admiral Ralvok. They expected to find a battle, maybe resistance. Instead, they found a station perfectly intact. No signs of fighting, no bodies, no damage. Only one strange thing remained. A single flag placed carefully in the command center. It was Earth's flag. Admiral Ralvok stared at the symbol, his claws trembling. What does this mean? He asked. His second-in-command, Captain Elena, looked pale. It's a warning. They want us to know who is responsible. Inside the station, computers showed signs of tampering. Communication logs had been erased. Databanks wiped clean. It was as if everyone had simply vanished. But why? Outside the station, shadows moved. Ships no one could see passed silently. No sensors detected them. It was the Umbra Protocol in action. Earth's hidden fleet was not just attacking enemy ships. It was taking control without violence. No destruction. Only disappearance. Back at the Galactic Council, panic became fear. Leaders shouted and argued. How can they do this? Where are their ships? What do they want? No one had answers. Even the Council's oldest historian, Zathar, was silent. He only said, "We have never faced an enemy like this. One that chooses to erase without fight." Meanwhile, Earth's commander, Leah Grant, was watching the events unfold. Her voice was calm as she spoke to her team. We did not want war. We warned them to stay away, but they ignored us. Now they will learn. Her words echoed through the dark command room. Around her, operators worked quickly, sending orders to ships scattered across space. Each mission was precise. No unnecessary damage, no innocent lives harmed. Only those who threatened Earth disappeared. News of the missing stations and silent systems spread fast. Some aliens fled their homes. Others begged for peace. A few tried to form alliances against Earth. But Earth did not respond. It only watched. In one corner of the galaxy, a small planet named Kalnir prepared for the worst. Its leaders met in secret. "The humans have taken Vela," said Governor Tarek. "If they come here next, we are finished." "But what can we do?" asked a young officer. "We cannot fight what we cannot see." Back in the council chambers, a desperate plan formed. They would send diplomats to Earth. They would ask for peace. They would beg for mercy. But when the messages were sent, they disappeared into the void. No replies, only silence. On Earth, Leah Grant smiled. "We control the conversation now." She looked at the screens one last time. The galaxy wanted to see our power. They will see more than power. They will see will. And far from Earth, in the dark corners of space, the Council finally understood the truth. Earth never wanted to conquer the galaxy. Earth wanted to be left alone. Earth wanted peace. But the galaxy had forced their hand. Now, Earth's silence was not a gift, it was a warning. Fear was spreading faster than any fleet. Across the alien empire, once proud and powerful, systems now doubted their leaders. Families whispered in shadows. Traders canceled voyages. Soldiers refused orders. The Galactic Council, once the symbol of unity, was now a house divided. In the capital city of the Zirak homeworld, large crowds gathered in the streets. They carried signs demanding peace with Earth. "Stop the war before it starts," they chanted. But the Council's ruling elite grew angry. "How can we surrender to a planet we called weak?" demanded Lord Mavrek. "They have already destroyed our outposts." Elsewhere, on a distant moon, the soldiers of the Vokran Legion prepared for battle. They drilled day and night, yet many questioned why. Their commanders refused to speak about Earth's true power. Rumors spread that no weapon could hurt the humans. That Earth's ships were faster, stronger, and invisible. In secret meetings, some council members argued for a treaty. Others pushed for a final strike. The galaxy was on edge. Then, the worst happened. Several systems, scared and uncertain, began to break away from the Empire. They declared independence. They sent messages to Earth, offering friendship. They begged for protection. The Council was shocked. Their empire was falling. Apart, borders collapsed, trade stopped, governments crumbled. Amid the chaos, the Council's homeworld began evacuating. Massive ships loaded citizens and refugees. The great towers that once gleamed under alien suns now stood empty. In the dark, humans watched it all quietly. Commander Leah Grant observed the galaxy's collapse. She spoke softly to her team. "They feared us. Now they are broken. We did not want to destroy, but we will not stop until we are safe." On one of Earth's hidden ships, a young pilot named Marcus prepared for his mission. He had trained for years to fly the Silence Fleet's stealth fighters. His target, a small rebel planet that had declared independence from the Council. Marcus's ship glided through space, silent and invisible. As he reached the planet's orbit, he sent a simple message to the defenders. "This is your last warning. Stand down." The planet's leaders ignored the warning. Marcus moved swiftly. Without firing a shot, his ship disabled their weapons. Communications went dark. The rebellion was over before it began. Back on Earth, the message from Marcus was met with quiet approval. Earth was not interested in ruling. It only wanted to stop threats before they started. Meanwhile, the remaining council members made a desperate attempt to negotiate. They sent their best diplomats, hoping to find peace. But Earth's response was clear. "We asked for peace. You sent warships. Now we act." The Empire's collapse was complete. Earth did not conquer. It did not enslave. It simply forced the galaxy to respect its strength. In the silence that followed, Earth sent one final broadcast. It was simple. It was clear. It was a warning. We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest. But if you threaten us, we will end you. The galaxy listened, and it never forgot. The galaxy was quiet. The vast emptiness where once proud fleets moved was now filled with whispers and fear. The great empires had fallen or scattered. Trade routes were empty. Systems lay silent. But Earth stayed hidden. In the heart of the Sol system, Commander Leah Grant stood on the observation deck of the Umbra command station. She looked out at the stars, calm and steady. For years, Earth had stayed silent. Now, it was time to speak. A single transmission began. It was simple. No demands. No threats, only truth. You called us low threat. You thought we were weak. You thought we would hide. We did not. We watched. We learned. We prepared. The message continued. You sent warships. You tried to take our home. You ignored our warnings. Now, you see the cost. The voice was human. Strong. Clear. Across the galaxy, species listened. They felt the weight of the message. Not anger, not hate, but power. For the first time, the galaxy understood. Earth was not a weak planet. Earth was not a small world. Earth was a force. In the empty halls of the Galactic Council, former leaders gathered. They spoke quietly. They asked, "What comes next?" Commander Leah Grant answered. She said, "We will not rule. We will not conquer. But we will protect. We will keep watch. And if any species threatens us again, they will face the silence." The galaxy did not answer, but it knew. Earth had changed everything. Far from the stars, Earth's people went back to their lives. They worked, they laughed, they dreamed. But they also remembered. They remembered the price of peace, the price of silence. And somewhere hidden in the depths of space, the Silence Fleet waited, watching, ready. Because Earth had finally spoken, and the galaxy would never forget.